Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that covers, most of our planet, the ocean. And I think we tend to forget that it's not just a big, beautiful body of water. It's actually a massive service provider that we all depend on. The problem is, it's under some serious strain. So we're going to unpack the crucial jobs the ocean does for us and the huge threats it's facing.
So, to get us thinking, let me start with a big question. If you had to pick just one thing, what would you say is the single most important job the ocean does for humanity? You might think about the air we breathe or the way it controls our weather, but honestly, it's pretty much impossible to choose just one. The ocean is doing everything all at once. And that's because it's handling several absolutely vital jobs at the same time. It's a global food bank, feeding literally billions of people. It's a massive economic engine powering whole countries. And it acts like a natural bodyguard, shielding our coastlines from major storms. We rely on these services every single day, whether we realize it or not. Okay, so let's dig into that first one, the service that we probably feel most directly, food. Because right now, we're taking way, way more out of the ocean's pantry than it can possibly restock. The biggest problem here is just plain overfishing. I mean, with all the advances in fishing tech, our global fishing fleets are now incredibly good at what they do. Almost too good. We're so efficient that we're basically emptying the seas, pulling fish out of the water faster than they have any chance to reproduce. And this isn't just about someone's favorite seafood dish. We have to understand the human scale of this. For billions of people, especially in coastal communities and on islands, fish isn't a choice. It's their main source of animal protein. In a lot of these countries, it's more than half of their intake. So for them, a collapse in fish stocks is a direct threat to their survival. So with wild fish numbers dropping and the world wanting more and more seafood, we needed another way. The big idea was aquaculture, which is, just a fancy word for farming the sea. The thinking was pretty straightforward. If we can't hunt for fish anymore, why don't we just grow them? And wow, has this idea taken off? Just look at this. Aquaculture is not some small niche thing anymore. It has completely tipped the scales. Farmed fish now make up more than half of all the fish that we eat around the world. It's a huge, huge industry. But, aquaculture isn't some magic fix. It's really a classic case of solving one problem only to create a few more. So on one hand, yeah, it gives us a reliable food source and it can take some of the heat off of wild fish. But on the other hand, intensive fish farms can cause some serious pollution from waste and chemicals. And in some spots, to build these farms, they've had to destroy crucial coastal habitats like mangrove forests. It's a really, really tricky balance. Now, overfishing isn't the only thing stressing out our marine food web. There's an even bigger, kind of invisible threat that's changing the ocean itself, and that's climate change. See, the ocean has been like a giant sponge, soaking up a huge amount of the extra heat and CO2 that we've been putting into the atmosphere. This does two big things. It makes the water warmer, and it makes it more acidic. This isn't just a small change. It's a fundamental shift in the ocean's entire chemistry. And the most famous and heartbreaking victim of this change are the coral reefs. When the water stays too warm for too long, the corals freak out. They basically spit out the tiny algae that live inside them, which is what gives them their amazing color and most of their food. And when they do that, they turn this ghostly white. That's coral bleaching. And if things don't get better, the coral just dies. Okay, so a reef turns white somewhere far away. It's sad, for sure. But why should someone living, say, hundreds of miles from the coast really care? Well, it might seem like a distant problem, but the death of these incredible nurseries of the sea has some very real, very direct consequences for all of us. So let's connect those dots. A sick reef isn't just an environmental tragedy, it's a huge problem for our wallets and our safety. Let's look at the fallout.
First off, there's the money. Healthy oceans are a massive business. For so many communities, especially in places like the Maldives or Thailand, their entire economy runs on people flying in to go diving and snorkeling on their beautiful reefs. When those reefs die, the tourists stop coming. And for those places, that means jobs disappear and their main source of income just dries up.
But the money is only part of it. These ecosystems provide an even more important service. They physically protect us. Healthy coral reefs and mangrove forests are nature's frontline defense for our coasts. They act like a giant natural seawall, soaking up the energy from huge storm waves before they can slam into the shore. So when we destroy these habitats, we are, and I mean this literally, dismantling the natural defenses that protect millions and millions of people. For low-lying coastal towns or entire island nations, losing that production, especially with sea levels rising, is a direct threat to their homes, their infrastructure, their lives. It's an existential threat.
So we've seen how we're withdrawing from the ocean's bank account, taking its food, its income, its protection. We're taking out a lot more than it can give. So let's tally up the final bill.
The most important thing to get here is that these are not separate problems. They all feed into each other. Think about it. Overfishing makes fish populations weaker, so they're less able to handle warmer water. Pollution from our cities flows into the ocean, hurting the very same reefs that are already getting hammered by climate change. Each problem makes all the other ones worse, creating this really dangerous downward spiral.
And that gets to the really cruel part of this whole crisis. The people who are least responsible for causing these problems are the ones getting hit first and the hardest. For developing countries that don't have the money to adapt, a sick ocean isn't some abstract idea. It means, right now, losing food, losing money, and losing their safety. And that leaves us right here. The ocean's bank account is officially overdrawn. The bill is coming due. The question really isn't if we're going to pay, but how. Because we have to realize that protecting our oceans isn't just about saving some fish or pretty reefs. It's about saving ourselves. So the real question is, how are we going to choose to pay back that debt?